there. Welcome to day 5 of my Dream Builders workshop. I'm glad that you're here. If you've just stumbled here, just know this is the 5th day of me meeting you every day this week and sharing an opportunity in different locations to dream. I really believe that having a vision for your life is important, and I really believe that writing that vision down matters more. So I've been here with the notebook of the month, because I change them frequently, and also here with my planner because I'm wanting to be intentional about what it is that I want, what it is that I desire, what it is that I believe God wants for me. And what I've learned is if you don't take the time to think about your life, you're not paying attention to your life, you're not writing down your thoughts, then you are leaving things to a little bit of chance. I mean, like my daddy says, God can hit a target with a crooked stick, but he does invite us to participate with him. And from the day you were born, you had some things hardwired into your heart, and then you've lived a whole life, and your soul has had the opportunity to be impacted and affected by your experiences and to have things awakened and desires cultivated. And when you live life too busy to pay attention to what is bubbling up on the inside, you are missing out. So this is day 5. You're welcome to jump in with me right here. But also, if you want to go back and start from day 1 and get the whole experience, I invite you to do that. While I'm live every Monday with my inner circle, I decided for a week to provide a special daily live experience to offer an opportunity for you to engage in something that I think is so important. And today is not going to be any different, but today is kind of different. I started the week here, I'm ending the week here, and there's a reason why I've come back here. This is a spot I love to come to. Nature, the sun, trees, the birds, the water, all of that, true. But this bench that I love is my mother's bench. Actually, where she's buried, there are benches just like this that were made in her honor. Her name is carved into the bench right here. And frankly, the reason why I'm here is because this bench, which is the same bench that's placed in the area where she's buried, I asked for one so I could have it near me. My life started with her, and the ending of her life marked a new season of reflection in my own. But today I'm back here, not just because I want to think about what my mom would think today. And sometimes when I think about life, I think about what she would want. But I'm here because there was a term that we used when she passed, and many of the things that we were talking about as it relates to her life had to do with her legacy, Lois's legacy. And there are so many amazing things when I think about my mother's life that not only do I learn from her legacy, but I learn what it means to live with legacy in mind. And with all the dreaming that we've done this week and all the futuristic thinking about your finances and your career and your body and how you're doing physically and emotionally, with all the thinking that we've done about your relationships and all the thinking that we've done about all these different areas of your life, one of the ways that you can so quickly begin to hone in on, of all the dreams, which are the ones that really matter, the ones that matter this year, the ones that matter for the season of planning, the ones that you'll focus on, is because you got to think about what will last, because everything doesn't last. Listen, it's fun to take a vacation, and you should plan for that. The memories will be good for you, but when you're gone, what will last from that? Your career is amazing, and you should enjoy what you do if at all possible. But when you're done with that job, whether you retire or whether God takes you home before you get to the retirement date, what will last from that? Yes, you want to have a healthy body and you want to cook healthy meals for your family, and by golly, I want my house to be clean and I'd love to be able to have enough money to decorate certain areas of my home. That's great. But what will last from that? Because at the end of the day, what you need to prioritize each and every day of your life, and especially as you make a plan, is what will last. Because legacy, that's what it means. What lasts when you're no longer here to create from the dreams that you dream. So what I want to have you do today is take some time and think about what will last. Feel free to get your notebook, whatever you used, or the pieces of paper, or the spiral notebook, or what have you, and look back and look at the things that you've written down. And I want to ask you a question today, and I'll ask you a couple of more, and they're all designed to help you focus on what's most important. So get your notebook, get your pen. It's time to write. Here's your question. What will people remember about you? If you keep going on the trajectory that you're on, what will people remember? What will they say about you when you're no longer here? When the people that worked with you or that were friends with you or that were coworkers with you, when they show up to give condolences to your family, what will they say was the mark that you left on their lives or that they noticed from watching you live? Good or bad, high or low, write it down. Okay, how'd that go? Some of you wrote down what people will remember, and you love what they're going to remember about you. Some of you wrote down what people will remember and talk about as it relates to your life, and you're disappointed in what they'll say. Maybe they're not saying enough of what you would hope that they would say because you haven't lived to have that outcome. So my next question is the same, but from a different angle. The first one was, what will people remember about you? This second one is, what do you want your legacy to be? And if what they will remember and what you want your legacy to be is the same, then amazing. I want you to write down all the things that you do to make that a reality. What do you do? For example, if people will remember that they were always welcome in your home, what do you do to make that possible? Is there always something on the stove? Is it that you're always home and welcoming? Are you always ready with a pot of coffee or a cup of tea? What is it that you do that makes people have that impression of you? Take note of what you're doing to make your legacy a reality when compared to what people will remember. If what people will remember about you is different than the legacy that you are currently living to leave, then write down what's different. If what people will remember is that you were always stressed out, then what do you need to do in order to create that reality? If what people will remember is that you were never smiling, you always seem to be upset or irritated about something, then what do you need to do to have a different kind of legacy? Because here's the deal. People are going to talk about you when you're not here. And you may not care about all those people. But the people you care about, your family, your children, your friends, they're going to have, whether they talk about you or not, a feeling, an impression, a mark of the way you lived. And I want you to think about that mark because that's legacy. And you have the opportunity today to be intentional about putting the things that will make that mark in place. So, is it matching up? What they'll say and how you're living? If so, take note of what's working. If not, take note of what you need to change. You ready? It's time to write it down. Let's go. Okay, how's it going? You're either feeling really good about yourself right now, or you're like, I have a lot of work to do. And if you feel like you have a lot of work to do, that's okay. You still have time. The only people that should be really sad are the ones that don't have time left. And you're still here, so that means you do. You know, I was thinking about this concept of running a race. And when you run a race, and we've all seen those videos on Instagram where somebody's running and then they fall and then they have this miraculous catch up. And when they fall, they feel, and we all feel like, ooh, man, dang. And then we watch this video and they get up and they keep running. And there's like 2 or 3 like that I've seen, where the person who falls down and falls behind eventually catches up. They eventually catch up, and we celebrate that. So here's what I want you to take a stab at doing, okay? I want you to take a stab. This is kind of sad, but it's kind of great. You ready? I want you to take a stab at writing a little bit of your obituary. Just a little bit. Just a little bit. I have been told by a very wise woman, and I have heard over and over and over again from people online, that one of the greatest things that they have ever done is every year they either write or revise their obituary. One, then you don't have to wait on anybody to write it for you. That's good. But also, it helps for you to literally think about what will be written about you once you're gone. My aunt, my dad's aunt, so my great aunt, Aunt Louise, moved to Texas after living in Maryland her whole life. She moved here and she lived here for a couple of years before she passed away. Before she moved here, so this is before she moved to Texas, before she was 90, I went to visit her in Maryland. And one year, probably about the time she was about 87, 88, she said, hey, I want to show you something. I was like, okay, what? And she pulls out this piece of paper and she says, read it and let me know what you think. And I start reading this and I think, this is an obituary. This is how you were feeling when I just told you that's what we're going to do. But she was so proud of it. She was so proud of it because she had the opportunity in writing her own story to celebrate the things she was happy about, to acknowledge the accomplishments that she'd made, to talk about the relationships that she valued, to make mention of the things that other people might not know. She went through her life and said, this is what I did that mattered. This is what I did that mattered. And when she handed it to me, she was so proud of herself. Now, I don't expect you to get it all written today. I do want you to start. I have heard Michael Hyatt say he writes or revises his obituary every year. And he is one of the people I follow and listen to a lot when it comes to living with intentionality and living with a plan. He writes and revises every year. I've heard a lot of people say that. So I just want to get you going, and I want you to think about the part that might be read out loud when you can maybe hear it from heaven, but you're not in the building with the people that you love. They're listening to your life, and you have written this for them. What would you say? What would you say? So I'm going to start mine. Chrystal Evans Hurst was a... Your turn. That's right. Okay, that was weird. That's okay. Weird is good if it gets us to the bottom line, right? So I want you to know that if you started it, whenever you feel like it, you can finish it. If you don't want to finish it, if you were like, Chrystal, I'm out right here, I'm out, that's fine. Somebody else can finish it for you one day, okay? But the reality is you got to think about it. And here's why. You're going to run into future you sooner than you think. Future you is going to either have lived in agreement with what you want people to remember about you, what you want your legacy to be, or what will be written in your obituary. Future you, whether she is 5 years down the road, 20 years down the road, 40 years down the road, future you is going to tell a tale. Did Chrystal, in this season of her life, live for legacy? And the way you've lived will determine the answer. And I don't want your future you to be disappointed that you lived not thinking. I don't want your future you to say, had I thought about the way I treated my body, or had I thought about the way I took care of my emotional well-being, if I had thought about my finances earlier than later, if I had thought about the areas of personal development, if I had thought about the dreams that I had, the vacations I wanted to take, the person that I wanted to marry, if I'd actually thought about it, then maybe my life would have had a different story. As much as possible, thinking about your life, paying attention to your life will promote healthy growth in your life. And these exercises are going to do just that. But there's one more question I'm going to ask you, and it's probably the most important one. What you think about how you want to be remembered matters, but not more than this. What people say about you when you're gone, it matters, but not more than this. What your obituary says, it's important because it'll be in print, it'll last forever. It's important, but it doesn't matter more than this. You're going to live the next few days, weeks, months, 2025, this year and on. And at some point, you will have to reckon either on earth, in time, or in eternity with what God wanted you to do with your life. He's going to ask you. He's going to require of you a response. With the talents that I gave you, with the desires I put in your heart, with the things that racked your soul and kept coming back year after year after year. The things that you couldn't shake, that you got frustrated when you wouldn't finish or start them or complete them. Those things, the time in prayer, the time in my word, connecting with God so that he could tell you what he wanted you to do. He's going to say, with what I gave you, did you maximize what I gave you? You know, if I had a 30-acre farm, which I don't, by the way, but if I did, and I planted a tomato plant in a pot on my back porch, you would say, Chrystal, you're not using all of your land. You're not using what you have. Here's what happens. God gives us great territory. He gives us amazing minds. He gives us deep souls. He gives us the opportunity to have amazing experiences. He allows the pain to have a purpose, or he allows an amazing setup to create purpose in our lives that pushes us forward. But the question is not, what did you start with? It's what did you do with what you were given? We all have different starting lines. We all have different speeds. We all have different problems, ailments, or advantages. None of that matters. The only thing that matters is, what will you say when he asks you? So I gave you this start in life. I gave you these opportunities. I gave you this information. What did you do? My last question for you as we close out our week together is, what does God require of you? As you look forward to a new year, as this current year comes to a close, what will that be? What will it be? Get your pen, think about it, and write it down. Okay, it's been 5 days of dreaming. And I know you may have skipped a day or two, or didn't finish one, or maybe you were like, is she really just sitting here writing things down and asking us questions? Yes. Yes, I am. Yes, I did. But that's how important it is. It was important enough for me to create a space for you to think, make sure you had the backdrop, the environment, for you to see where I sit and do my thing. Because dreaming is not something you do in 15 minutes, It's something you've got to create space for. And the questions that I ask you aren't all the questions that I have. They're just a sampling of things that I hope stirred up the soil of your soul so that you could think a little bit deeply, or maybe at a different angle than what you normally would. This is my version of dreaming for this week. You have a whole notebook that you probably haven't filled up with a pen that still has ink in it. So you be my guest. Keep writing, keep dreaming, keep thinking. Keep setting aside the time to think about your life, because thinking about your life is paying attention to your life. Paying attention to your life is cultivating your life. Cultivating your life causes things to grow. As I mentioned before, I'm sitting here on my mom's bench, and when I think about her life, and when lots of people think about her life, they clearly see legacy. That didn't just happen. I had a mother who wrote things down. In fact, she told me that one time when I was frustrated in a season of not being free, small kids, broke, just thinking, what have I done with my life? Where did my life go? And she said, all the things you feel called to do, Chrystal, all the things that you desire, all the things that you hope one day come true, write them down. And as you live, one by one, you'll check them off. She was right. I've lived long enough to see that happen. And when I think about all the things she told me about for her own life, I know one by one, she checked them off. So legacy, which is what we're talking about today, thinking about legacy, thinking about what people will remember about you and what God will ask and require of you when you see him face to face, is a great starting point. You will meet future you one day. Future you is going to look back at the day you watch this video and say, they had an opportunity to ask these questions and get their act together. So I want you to bless future you by continuing this journey if you need to. These videos will be here. You can come back and play them and watch them again. But then take action. And that's the most important part. Whether you take action on your own, you've got your own planning system, you write things down, put them on your mirror, you got your spiral notebook, your list maker, your Apple Notes, your Google, whatever, that's great. If you need more help taking your dreams to making them a plan so that they're not just a wish, I want to help you more. I'd love to. Next week, I'm going to be doing something a little different, but somewhat similar to this. It's our Dream Builders VIP workshop, and there are only 2 people that can come to that. One of those groups of people are my inner circle girls. These are women who have already decided to make the investment, or who will decide, if you decide to join us, to be a part of the group of women who hears more from me more frequently. More coaching, more encouragement, and a little more fun and foolery along the way. If you are not an inner circle member, then I encourage you to join me. I'll tell you how in just a second. The second group of people who can join me are those that have bought the planner. So this is my planner. It's the full circle planner. And the reason why I made one, y'all, is because I couldn't find one that I loved. And so I created lots of space for you to have your to-dos, lots of space for you to write down your weekly plan your month. But I also created space for you to write down answers to questions. So unlike any other planner that you'll find, somewhat like I did this week, every month, every quarter has questions so that you can continuously do the work at looking at your life. So for the girls who are in the inner circle, or for the girls who have purchased the inner circle planner, those 2 sets of people will get an invitation to the Dream Builders Workshop VIP, so we can take all these dreams and boil them down into your plan, Because all these things you wrote down, like my mother told me, you're not going to do them all tomorrow. You write them down and then you choose what's priority for the season ahead. And I would love to help you whittle that down into a plan. In order to get your invite, you have to be in one of those two groups. If you need information about getting a planner or joining the inner circle, simply go to crystalevanshurst.com/dream for more information. Now again, I did this because I believe that everybody needs to. The videos are here. Enjoy them, share them, come back to them whenever you need my voice in your head or if you need music to set the tone. But I'll close with this. Many of the things I do today are because I hear my mother's voice in my head. There's nothing wrong with having someone's voice in your head. And if you need my voice in your head, just to remind you to focus on your life and to be intentional, I'm here. If you don't have a dime, I'm here. That's why you see the videos or you hear the podcast, because I'm committed to that. But if you want more, I'd love to go deeper. And like I said, more information is available at the website I shared earlier. So here's to dreaming. Here's to going deeper in whatever way, in whatever fashion works for you. Thanks for joining me. Thanks for allowing me to do this. And I pray that your dreams come true.